What's up, guys? Today we are back with another book review and a short story this time, a fictional story this time, but the writer is the same. Yes, this is the book review about the story A Perfect Murder by Jeffrey Archer. And as I had said in the last video, Jeffrey Archer is one of my, if not my favorite author. And because I just like the way he keeps the reader gripped with his writing. So, A Perfect Murder is a short story, around 50 to 60 pages long, and it is the first story which comes in the book A Twist in the Tale, which is just a collection of short stories written by Jeffrey Archer. And as you can see in in the contents, that there are many stories here. Suppose it starts very well with A Perfect Murder, then comes A la carte, which is a very good story, Not the Real Thing, Just Good Friends, and The Steal, Checkmate, and it ends really, really nicely with Christina Rosenthal. But coming to the story, A Perfect Murder. Murder of whom? Carla Moorland. And who is the protagonist of the story? John Hoskins. John Hoskins is a married man with a wife named Elizabeth. And Carla Moorland is a woman with whom John Hoskins had an affair with. Yes, this story is about twisted relationships, and John Hoskins knows who the killer of Carla Moorland is himself. Yes, I spoiled the story out to you. You can shout at me as much as you want, but this is it. This is what the story is about, a perfect murder. Elizabeth, rather than trying to call the police and just putting her husband into jail, is determined to keep John Hoskins out of prison, even if it means that somebody else, if it's an eyewitness or something, I'm not going to reveal anything, but even if it means if another innocent person goes to prison instead of John. Jeffrey Archer's A Perfect Murder is, in one word, I would say compelling. It explores the dangerous illusion of committing a flawless crime. It explores the consequences of overconfidence, and it dives deeply into human psychology. It dives deeply into ambition, greed, and like, as I said earlier, the consequences of overconfidence. The story, it revolves around a carefully executed plan by John to murder Carla Moorland. Why? I'm not going to tell you. I just want you to read the book and I want you to find out. But John Hoskins, he thinks he can commit a perfect murder where he will not leave any trace behind. There's not going to be any evidence found. And yeah, the story goes with this tone. Jeffrey Archer establishes this tone of suspense, intellectual tension. We go deep into twisted relationships, and we go deep into John, who prides himself on precision, on logic, on control. He has gone through all the outcomes. He has figured out every single scenario that can possibly happen, and he has figured out this perfect murder to kill Carla Moorland, which he's ultimately successful in doing so. But this story takes we go along with John and his journey, and how unpredictable life becomes for him after the murder. So John is portrayed as this very highly intelligent, highly methodical person, and he has thought through every single possible scenario before committing this crime. He anticipated every single outcome, and he ensured that every step is executed with care. So this attention to detail, it gives him a sense of superiority. It makes him believe that he's immune to failure. But as you read the story, you will start to suspect that overconfidence itself will become a flaw, and the idea of a perfect murder is presented really well in the story. That it's not a criminal act. It can be a test of intellect, it can be a test of control, and it just reflects John's desire to outsmart the system. As the story progresses, the story, it does highlight several important themes. One major important theme, I would say, is the illusion of perfection. And although the plan may appear flawless in theory, but practical life is different. There can be many unexpected scenarios, and overconfidence certainly doesn't help. Like, I can give an example. Human behavior changes according to the system. A man's responses to certain situations depends on the situation itself. And how the situation will be, what turns will take place in our lives, we cannot control. But it does shape what the how the person will react and how the person will respond. So many unexpected events take place after the murder, which John does not want those things to happen. So another important theme I would say is greed and ambition, which both these things they compel a person to take extreme risks. In this case, the desire which John had to achieve the perfect crime, it blinds him to potential errors and which ultimately leads to his downfall. Jeffrey Archer in the story, he also emphasizes the role of chance and the role of confidence in shaping outcomes. While John, he relies heavily on logic and planning. This story does suggest along the way that life cannot be controlled entirely, as I've said earlier. So, as the book suggests, a twist in the tale, short stories written by Jeffrey Archer, the climax gives such a powerful twist. I mean, it did make me read the story again to really understand what really happened at the end. This is a hallmark of Jeffrey Archer's writing style. This is why he's one of my favorite writers out there. So, just when John thinks he has succeeded and everything has gone according to plan for him, something happens. What happens, I will not reveal. I do want you guys to read the story, and I'm just giving you like an overview of what you need to expect. It's a 50 to 60 page story. You can complete it in a day because even the book is not that big, and yeah, it's a short story. So this twist at the end, it just it will surprise you, but it will also reinforce the central message of the story that nothing is truly perfect. The ending is really ironic. The ending is thought provoking, I would say, as it exposes the consequences of a man's arrogance and where he has misplaced his confidence and overconfidence in himself in general. And in this entire video, I've been talking about a perfect murder, how he tries to commit a crime perfectly without any evidence. But the story is not glorifying the act of crime. The story just serves as a cautionary tale about the risks of overestimating your surroundings and overestimating one's abilities. So overall, A Perfect Murder is not just a story about crime, but it is a deeper exploration into human nature, human psychology, and the limits of control a human must have. It does demonstrate how ambition and being limitless can lead individuals to make critical mistakes. So this story, again, it's a short story. It's not going to bore you. It's going to be flowing very fast. You have to be with the story, with the protagonist, and I would personally say that this story did amaze me and it made me read it again. So I am going to give this story 4.5 stars out of 5. It's simply one of the better stories out there, and this book really, this was the first story I had read of Jeffrey Archer. And this is why this story was the reason why I started loving Jeffrey Archer so much. So that is it from The Perfect Murder. As I said again, 4.5 out of 5 stars. The pictures of the books are there in the video. I'll put a link in the description. And again, special thanks to Devanupriy, my friend, who will help me edit the video. So, who has helped me edit the video. I've used the wrong tense, to be sorry. So, thank you guys. See you again.